Hello and welcome to another episode of Retro Game Monday here at retrofunction.com. I am Frank, also known as E-Master from the CrossBorder podcast and at Gamer Hub. And today we are going to play some Capcom vs. SNK 2 as requested by Inky_77, aka Victor. And I'm going to do a playthrough in 3-on-3 tag here from beginning to end. I'm not worried about failing to place here at the end because I'm pretty confident that I can get through without continuing. But let's start here. We're going to do arcade mode. We're going to do 3-on-3, no ratios. While I do like doing ratios, I only like doing ratios when I am using just one player against three pretty much. So we got C groove, A groove, P groove, S groove, K groove, EX groove, and EX2 groove, which I unlocked. These are extra actually. And we're gonna go with C groove here because that's my favorite. Because I like unleashing more combos at once. So we're gonna go with Team X here, which is Bison, Ryu, and Yori. And this is usually the order that I play in. Let's start off with him, Bison. But I've loved this fighting game for well over 10 years. It's been well over 12 years since this game has come out. And I still very much adore it to this day. I actually made sure... I'm a little bit rusty here, do apologize. There we go, that's better. The reason I love this game so much is because I've played SNK fighting games back in the 90s. I played the King of the Fighters series a little bit, and I always thought those games were so fucking hard to the point where you just don't want to play anymore. And a lot of the characters piss me off so much that I always thought, what would it be like to get a Street Fighter character and beat the shit out of this character? Because if that guy was doing that in Street Fighter, I would do a Dragon Punch and all this other shit. This was like around when I was 17, 16. I think it was King of the Fighters 97 and 95 that I played. I don't think I played... I don't think I played 96. Although I'm not 100% sure about that because a lot of those games look very much the same to me, unfortunately. The one thing I will say about SNK games, they're not nearly as memorable as the Street Fighter games were. Like, you cannot tell them apart. The art style is very much the same. But in this particular instance, they combine the best of both worlds. Now, this is the sequel to the first Capcom vs. SNK, which was made by Capcom and licensed by SNK. Kind of like how we got Tekken vs. Street Fighter and all that stuff. But I don't know anything about the first one as much because that one only used 4 buttons instead of 6. So it used the SNK button layout. It was more of a direct collaboration with SNK. This one, I could tell, was probably 90% Capcom, with the exception of the artwork. I think this game was all done by Capcom. I'd have to look up if that is true or not. Sorry, let me just make quick work here of Sagat, because he sucks. Come here. Come here. There we go. Anyways, so the first one wasn't nearly as good. I did not enjoy that one nearly as much, although it did introduce us to the different grooves and all that. I think it did, but I think there was only 3 grooves. But it's been a very long time since I've played that one. And also, for FY, Nakoruru is one of my least favorite opponents of all time. Her and Athena are my least favorite fighting game characters of all time in the SNK series. Oh, you stupid bitch, you will pay. You will pay. Come here. Come here. I cannot do the charge supers from that side. It's also very difficult sometimes to pull them off. There we go. I do this so I can get the GP right. Anyway, so, and after that, this version came out, and this was the version I was hooked to in the arcades. I skipped college classes to play this at the local mall close to my school, and I competed. I competed vigorously against people. At the time, I was a huge X-Men vs. Street Fighter fan, which I still am now, but I still like this one better because it was actually released on the PS2, whereas X-Men vs. Street Fighter was only released on the PlayStation 1 and Saturn, and I believe the Dreamcast as well. But I never got into the console version of those games at all because I didn't own those consoles at the time. So I played mainly arcade fighters. It was all arcade fighters for me in the early 2000s. Like I said, I didn't own a PS2. I didn't own a PS. Well, I did own a PS1, but I didn't care about it. I bought it at a garage sale at the time. And I didn't care much for it until I got my PlayStation 2. That's when I started giving a shit about this game. And I believe I didn't buy this version of the game until I had my PlayStation 3. It's one of those reasons why I bought a fully backwards compatible PlayStation 1 first gen. Because I wanted that hardware support for the backwards compatibility. And my offense against Royo doesn't seem to be working too well. Shit. It's giving me all the easy opponents so far. Athena would be one that's a pain in the ass. Like I said, Athena can go two ways. She can either be hard or she could be easy, like I just mowed over Royo here. But yeah, I'm still fanatic about this game, and it is because of this game that I only for that reason that I buy a fully backwards compatible PS3. And that's how I'm capturing this video, otherwise it would be a pain in the ass to capture since I don't have a place. Well, I do have a PlayStation 2, but Jazz has it, and she lost the power supply to it, so it's not really running. And Jason was supposed to get me one, not Metro, but a local one that also was involved in the early days of retro funging. Oh, Maru is such a pain in the ass when he does that stupid slash moon crescent. Hat so mal zu sagen. There we go. But as far as dynamics go and physics go, this is my favorite fighter of all time because I believe it's the only one that's balanced correctly from the get-go. Keep in mind, there is no DLCs, nothing, none of that shit is in here. This is just straight up as it is. This was back in the day when you couldn't update the games that nerf the games, and that's probably why I like this one compared to the Street Fighter 4 series, or even the Street Fighter X Tekken series, or because I really liked the balance of this game. Whereas the new ones, they all nerf the games with an update, and I don't like that. I really don't like that, and that's why I prefer classic fighting games because nothing's been changed. There's no ROM updates for Champion Edition or Marvel vs. Capcom 1, you know. And that's another thing, actually. Fun fact about me is I don't like the Marvel vs. Capcom series. I like Marvel Superheroes by itself, which I'll probably play another day on here because I do have an original of that disc as well. Rock Howard is a pain in the ass. Probably one of the biggest pain in the asses. He's basically a combination of Terry Bogard and Geese Howard. And he's a person you need to get rid of quickly. But in my case, I'm vain and I need to finish him with a super move. But I threw him anyway. I always thought that throw by M. Bison was really cool because it's kind of unrealistic. But well, everything in this game is unrealistic, but who cares? But also what I loved about this game was the roster. I thought this game had the best roster of all tag games. You had the best of the, literally you had the best of the SNK series up to and including Samurai Showdown fighters, which kind of makes me wonder why Hanzo and what is it? Not Benimaru. Benimaru is in this game. Who's the other guy that I'm thinking of? Ah, stop fucking throwing fireballs at me. Usually when the Street Fighter characters are using K-Groove or N-Groove, they're a huge pain in the ass. And for those of you that don't know what the groove system is, it just basically is how your... Wow, he actually killed me. Finally, I lost a round. This is because there's no rounds in this game either. You die, you're done. Kind of like Ippon Kumite. And in this case, Dalsum actually kicked my ass because I spent too much time talking instead of destroying, like I just did with him there. And the one thing you can't do in this game, unlike in SNK vs. Capcom and the Marvel vs. Capcom series, is you cannot tag. The SNK and Capcom series was always designed so that you couldn't tag. So you had to strategically place your fighters in order because of the balance. Because if I'm fighting with Zangief or Raiden or one of the other guys, then you would get killed. And I need to spend a lot less time focusing on what I'm going to say and focus more on beating this Russian, because he should have been dead easy. But then again, I've never tried playing fighting games and talking at the same time. Iori. I have not played with Iori in such a long time. I just had no chance. Oh, there we go, he's dead. But again, no tags, no nothing in this series. So you have to strategically place your people ahead, and that's why at the versus screen you see the ability to choose. And now, because my GP is over 800, I get to fight random rival, which in this case is Geese Howard. For Geese, I need Bison and I need Iori for him. Because if Bison doesn't get the job done, then Iori will have to. You gotta be careful with that. The man does try to... And my idea is always to trap him as much as possible. See, and then he'll do shit like that. And then he taunts you. And I tried to do this. I cannot do the super combos from the right side anymore for some reason. I guess that just comes with age. And back in the day, I used to average at this point, I would have anywhere between 15 and 1700 GP at this point. And again, I'm not nearly as good as I was when I was a kid or younger. And I just got caged that you just saw a few seconds ago. Oh, you and your stupid cage. Although I had a friend do something really awesome once in the arcades with Geese. Somebody was doing Sagat's finisher and he was about to hit him, and at that point he unleashed the cage, or the Raging Storm. There we go. And there goes Geese. And I've tried my best to keep up my skills in this game over the years, but you get older, this just happens. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. But as long as I still hit over 1200 to 1400, I'm pretty happy by the time the end hits around. So now, after fighting the rival, you fight the final round. And if you do well in the final round and remain to be over 1000, then you get to fight somebody else, which could either be Akuma, Shin Akuma, Could be, what's his name? Oh god, what the fuck was his name? Mr. Jinsai Kata and Kaiser Wave. God damn it. Either way, the eye patch guy. And then the Shin version of that eye patch guy. Rugal. They call them God Rugal over here. And I've hated Chang and Choi my whole life, by the way. My friend always played with Chang and Choi just to annoy the shit out of me. And he's dead. But luckily when I play him versus, he's easy move. Chang and Choi. Choi being, of course, a Freddy Krueger ripoff. And SNK did a lot of fighting games where they had a guy with a Freddy Krueger claw. I don't know who it was at SNK that was completely obsessed with the Freddy Krueger claw. Or glove, rather. And now, Sakura might not look like much, but she could cause a lot of damage if you fuck up. Which I have a great potential chance of doing because I am talking at the same time as I'm playing, which again I've never tried before. But this is truly my favorite because I can come up with the most epic combinations of teams of all time, in my opinion. I mean, the only thing I would like to see more than what I've seen in this game is to see the third installment and include everyone. Everyone from the Street Fighter universe, from Street Fighter 1. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever heard of something called, what the hell is the name of it? The Mugen engine. The Mugen engine is essentially how these games are built, and it's an open source version of it, which allows people to create their dream matchup games essentially for the PC. The only problem with that is it's very buggy, and does have a tendency to crash. I've had it crash on me a few times. But you can create your dream rosters in this game. But this is as close to a Mugen combo game. I was still using charge moves there with Ken. That also happens sometimes. I get the movesets confused. Although I did used to play with a much wider array of characters back in the day. But now, not so much anymore. So who do I get to fight? Oh shit, I get to fight Shin Akuma. At least he's not as bad as God Rugal. God Rugal, or Ultimate Rugal as he's called in Japan. Because this game was called the Millionaire Fighting in Japan, which I thought was a better name than Millennium Fight. I don't know if it's because they can't say Millennium over there, and they say Millionaire instead. Oh god, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. Oh, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. This guy takes up so much power, like, it's ridiculous. He just did short work of the guy that I beat everyone with in this game so far. But I will finish this game regardless, and I don't care what I have to do to beat Shin Akuma. But this is where I prefer ratios. It's almost like you can't do anything. It's like, look. It's like you can't do anything. Shin Akuma is probably one of the biggest pieces of shit in this game besides God Rugal. God Rugal is the only guy that's even harder. He's still a person I have trouble beating today. And Iori is not going to be able to do it. For Shin Akuma, you need specialties. And you also need special characters to do certain stun moves on him. He just makes very quick work of you. Now, here this is different. When you used to continue in the old Capcom games, there would be a 1 added to your score, and if you continued again, it would be 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's how you would know how many times the person would continue. In this game, however, you can't tell. I need P-Groove for him. P-Groove basically means I'm doing all moves at level 3, and in this case, you will need them. And I don't think Iori's going to cut it for this one, so I'm going to need somebody else. No, that's Rugal. I still haven't unlocked God Rugal. He's supposed to be down here. Let's try regular Akuma then. Oh, where is he? The problem is with these games is you can easily get confused where everyone is. So... Alright, in this case I'm going to need to pay a little bit more attention so I can actually beat Shin Akuma and actually finish the game here for you, and then we can end this video. But with him, I require concentration. That's why I'm playing horribly. And I can't do that while I'm... Because he will pull off any Dragon Punch or any move from way faster than you will at any point in time. Even Bison doesn't do much good against him. The only thing I can do is take the weak characters first, cut them down until I get the most powerful one in the end. But for some reason, when I hit double Fierce Punch and Roundhouse Kick, I don't get the same pick. And the way that I always used to beat Shin Akuma was to take Bison and just do torpedoes across the screen. But I don't have that kind of hand-eye coordination anymore. See? I'm dead. I think I might just end the video after this, but you get the idea. The game is still very challenging. It does not stand up to today's graphics, unfortunately, even when it's upscaled like this on the PS3. Because it does upscale the picture quality. That's another reason why I wanted that. Because I kept game capture in mind. He's almost dead! You son of a bitch! He was almost dead. Oh well, but I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna end it here. So check out retrofunction.com. Rate and subscribe this video, please. Follow us on Twitter at retrofunction.com. You can also follow me at emaster1980 on Twitter. Check out CrossBorderGaming.com. That's my podcast every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I'm on there with Harold, who you can follow at USFHBomb. And that is it. I hope everyone has a good day. And that noise in the background that you hear that sounds like a dustbuster? Well, that's my PS3. Good night and big balls. Toodles.